What's going on, everybody? Victor here with a brand new video. I want to talk about one of the fights that's going to be taking place this Saturday live from St. Louis, Missouri, UFC Fight Night. It's going to be the first time the UFC's been back in St. Louis, Missouri ever since the pandemic. So it's been a couple years, and it's had a great lineup of fights. I want to talk about this one fight in the light heavyweight division just because it needs a lot of this notoriety because it is a sleeper. I'm going to consider this the people's main event. I'm talking about Carlos Ulberg versus Alonzo Menifield. Both of these guys are heavy hitters in the light heavyweight division. Both these guys have been in the organization for many years now. Carlos Ulberg being from New Zealand, and then Alonzo Menifield fighting out of Dallas, Texas. Both these guys are trying to get a title shot. They're trying to vie for a title shot. In order to do that, they need to beat big names in the light heavyweight division, which is considered to be one of the most stacked divisions in all of the UFC. It's been held up by DC and John Jones for many years now, and ever since those two have been out of the division, the title has changed hands multiple times. Jan Blachowicz had it, Glover Teixeira had it, Jamal Hill had it, now Alex Bejeda has it. The belt has been shifting around like crazy, which means it's getting a lot of guys opportunities to go up the rankings and fight for that title that had been basically locked up between two individuals, two great fighters, for such a long time now. But now that those guys are gone, it's time for individuals such as Carlos Ulberg and Alonzo Menifield to be able to do their thing. Like I said, Carlos Ulberg came into the UFC, and I believe with his UFC debut was against Kenny Nzechukwu, and he lost that. But it was a back and forth fight, and ever since that, he's been stringing off wins left and right. His most impressive win, it was against it wasn't his most recent win, but his win against Igor Pretoria from Ukraine was a great fight. He was able to get him out of there very early in the first round. And Alonzo Menifield, of his last fights, he had a really good fight against Cesar Jacoby, and he was able to get Jimmy Crute out of there in the first round of their rematch. So both these guys are looking to keep going on with their upward trajectory and trying to get into that top five, trying to get a big fight that will propel them into a title shot. But first, they have to go up against one another, and it's not going to be either an easy fight. But both these guys, both of them like to do the majority of their feet standing up. But Alonzo Menifield does have the ability to take individuals down. I remember he did end up beating Paul Craig. He beat Paul Craig early in his career. He was able to get him out of there via TKO because Paul Craig made a mistake, and then he made a mistake on the ground, and then Menifield was able to get him out of there via ground and pound strikes, via hammer fist. So he's not a stranger on the ground, Alonzo Menifield, and he is able to take someone down. He is able to bully them, and he is able to get him out of there via submission or ground and pound. And for guys that have been underneath the guard of Alonzo Menifield, it's been extremely hard for them to get back up because Alonzo Menifield is a big and heavy guy, so putting all that weight on his opponents makes it a lot harder for them to be able to get back up on their feet, and a lot easier for him to be able to rack up on the control time and to be able to dominate his opponents more on the ground. Guys that have been able to get back on the field with him have been able to stand and bang with him, but a lot of them end up getting knocked down or knocked out. And then you have Carlos Ulberg on the other side that's been riding high ever since the loss to Kenny Nzechukwu. Like I said, he did have a very impressive victory over Igor Pretoria and many others, and he's been riding high. He's been doing a lot of this work on the feet. He can get down to the ground if he wants to. He's been training with guys over in City Kickbox such as Israel Adesanya, Brad Riddell, Alexander Volkanovski, great people like that. And he has been able to train with big bodies over there as well to get him prepared for fights such as this. And if there's one thing about Carlos Ulberg that I like is that he's very patient inside of the octagon. He likes to pick his strikes. He likes to utilize his distance, and he likes to keep his opponents guessing. And when he's going to put the heavy shots in there, he does it after he waits. He doesn't get overzealous, and he doesn't like to pour on pressure too early. He likes to analyze the environment. He likes to analyze his opponent. He likes to analyze his own movements and what he can be able to do better in order to maximize his chances of being able to win the fight. When Alonzo Menifield on the other side is a little bit different. When he does get his opponents hurt, he does tend to go a little bit berserk, and he does tend to make mistakes, leaving himself wide open for any openings to get himself finished or countered, or however you may see it out how it is. But both these guys are most likely going to stand and bang. These guys are going to get dirty within the clinch. These guys are going to have body locks in there. Someone's going to try to take someone down, and it's most likely going to be Alonzo Menifield. So what Carlos Ulberg's going to have to do, he's going to have to make sure he stays up on his feet within those body lock positions. He's going to want to try to get both those underhooks in or those overhooks and try to trip Alonzo Menifield before he ends up getting taken down. And if that does happen, I would advise him to do it in the middle of the octagon, just because Alonzo wouldn't have the fence to be able to use to get back up. It would make it a lot much harder for him to be able to get back up on his feet. And then you have Alonzo on the other side. It doesn't matter what he gets to take down, whether it's against the fence of the octagon, the middle of the octagon, you name it. He is going to be the more powerful individual in there, but the more technical individual in there is going to be Carlos Ulberg, and it's going to depend on who really wants him more at the end of the day, which is how the majority of the fights, if not all fights, go. But whoever depends on their game plan the most. There's always a fighter out there that throws their game plan out the window and just does it on their own, and whenever something like that happens, there's always the 50-50 possibility of you losing or you winning. So whoever throws away that game plan is probably going to lose. Whoever goes with their game plan the most is going to win. And I do believe it's going to be Carlos Ulberg, because he is a tactician inside of that octagon, and he has been getting better and better and better. When he did get into Dana White's Contender Series, I believe he ended up beating RoboCop. And RoboCop, being from Brazil, is not an easy guy to fight, but he fought against RoboCop. He beat RoboCop in the first round, knocked him out, and then that's how he got into the UFC. So being able to face guys like that very, very early in your career, in stages such as just like that in Dana White's Contender Series, to propel yourself to the UFC and fight guys such as Kenny Jessica in your first fight of the promotion for your debut, that just shows you how battle tested Carlos Ulberg is and how better he's been getting ever since his debut. And that's why I believe he's going to win this fight. It's not going to be by knockout or submission. I believe it's going to be by decision. It's going to be by split decision, because both these guys are closely contested to one another. And if Alonzo Menifield wants to win this fight, he's going to have to knock Carlos Ulberg out, and that's going to be his best method of victory. And he's going to have to pick his spots. He's going to have to set some traps. And when Carlos Ulberg does get caught up in one of those traps, that is when he's going to have to throw that big power shot. Whether it knocks him down or knocks him down, knocks him out, or gets him wobbled, that's going to be his best method of victory right there. Because I do believe if Carlos Ulberg does get taken down, he's going to get back up on his feet, because he is a very powerful individual as well, and he is very strong. But like I said, for Menifield, the best method of victory is going to have to be that TKO or KO. And for Carlos Ulberg, it's just going to be follow the game plan, use your distance, use your movement, and be able to set those traps. I do believe, like I said from earlier, that Carlos Ulberg is going to win by split decision. It's going to be a very close fight, guys. Appreciate you guys for watching this video. Stay safe, stay blessed. Enjoy the fights this Saturday live from St. Louis, Missouri. Later, guys.